What is up, Mikey O? Back for another behind the scenes video of what it takes to get a radio interview these days, or at least how we do it over here at Indie Rage Radio. We are joined by PFunk from Faithhead. What's up, playa?
Hey, what's going on, Mikey O?
Not much. Glad to have you here. Before we start the radio interview portion, you know what? I forgot to. You know what? Where am I at here?
You gonna hit record?
There we go. Now we're recording. If you love what we do and you're listening to this, well, not listening, but if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook and you want to help join the cause, help us keep broadcasting, giving a global platform to independent and unsigned bands, one of the easiest ways to do it. Everybody shops on Amazon. Right here on the crawl and in the description below on our YouTube video, tinyurl.com/Amazon link MO. Save that on your browser, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on the computer. And every time you shop at Amazon, use that link. We'll get a small commission on whatever you get, no added cost to you. And it just helps keep things moving around here. And we sure would appreciate it. All right, here we go. Segment one in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are joined by PFunk. He's the bassist and the founder of the band Faithhead. What's up, my friend?
What's up, Mikey O?
Yeah, man. You know, we were talking off the air before the show started, and we had connected back in the days because you guys had been at it for a minute, as the kids say. And we had connected back in the past. Hurricane Laura came through, pretty much foobarred Lake Charles. We had to take a 2.5-year hiatus. And it was kind of cool that you remembered us and you were like, hey, it's great that we linked back up. So kudos, man.
Yeah, being in an independent band, you know who your friends are. That's for sure. Because I don't have $500,000 to pay for radio placement, and I want to support all the radio stations that support indie music. So it's great to see you guys coming back.
Right on, P-Funk. Like I said, is the bassist and the founder of Faithhead. They're from Chattanooga, Tennessee, hard rock metal band. We're going to play some of their tunes here in a little bit. But look, first segment, the Indie Rage Nation. They're a nosy bunch, P-Funk. They want to know a little bit about you. So we're going to play 10 rounds with Mikey O.
Okay.
Let me get my reactions up here. There we go. All right. So it's kind of like this or that. I'm going to give you 2 things, 3 things. You tell me which one you like more, kind of just right off the top of your dome type thing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Round number 1. We're going to start off with some Tennessee stuff since you're in Chattanooga. Oh, and by the way, Chattanooga used to be the home of the FCS championship. And my home university, McNeese State University, went up there and lost to I think it was Youngstown back in the early 90s. I was sad when they moved it out of Chattanooga.
It's happened.
It's gone. It's gone. All right, here we go. Round number 1. The Tennessee Volunteers or the Vanderbilt Cardinals? What are they?
Well, we're just going to
go Commodores.
Leave it at that.
Do what?
We'll go with the Vols and just leave it at that.
Hey, Vandy is actually ranked now. Who thought that would come? All right. Being in Tennessee. Round number 2, country music or pop punk?
If it was just straight punk, I'd go with punk, but pop punk I despise, so I'm going to go with country.
Whoa!
Johnny Cash every time.
I tell you, yeah, but I tell you what, pop punk is one of my guilty pleasures, bro. It will stop me in my tracks every single time.
I'm old enough to remember when punk came around the first time.
All right.
The real deal.
Round number 3. Hot chicken or moon pies?
Moon pies.
Look, they started a while back. I think it may have started in Galveston or maybe over in Biloxi. I can't remember. But they started throwing moon pies at their Mardi Gras parade, and they tried to get it going here in Lake Charles. And I was all down for it because we have one of the bigger Mardi Gras parades other than New Orleans here in the state. And it did not live past a year. The next year, moon pies were not being thrown. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I have a history with moon pie. I actually, it's a long story, but I used to be pretty tight with people over at Moon Pie through my through my day job. So
Nice.
I've got some brand loyalty there. But it's not owned by Chattanooga company anymore. So
Did they slip you some free moon pies under the table?
I'll tell you a funny story real quick. I was on a very restricted diet at the time, and I had to go over to the Moon Pie Factory. And I went for a tour, and the kind of the GM of the place, we were standing literally in the flash freezer where the hot moon pies go through on a conveyor belt and into the chocolate waterfall.
Oh,
He
snap.
reaches in and grabs one, and he's like handing it out to me, and he says, "You will never taste a more fresh moon pie than you will." I was so disappointed. I'm like, and I regret it because there was a part of me that just wanted to strip down naked, hop on the conveyor belt, and waterfall.
Yes. Oh,
great.
man, what an opportunity missed.
I regret it to this day.
In more ways than one.
In more ways than one.
All right, here is our final Tennessee 10 round with Mikey O round. Round number 4, Dollywood or Graceland?
I've never been to Graceland, so I'm going to go with Graceland.
There you go.
I love Elvis.
Let's see here. Okay, round number 5, Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo?
Oh, Nintendo.
Yeah, we talking the 8-bit system?
Original.
I remember I had the Atari 2600, and I kept begging my dad for the NES system. They had it at Walmart. You could go there and play it every time. So every time we shopped up, be like, "Hey, I got electronics. Play the Nintendo." And then finally, one day, and I didn't even ask him that day, and it was glorious. He was like, "Go ahead and pick you up one of those." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was trying to talk him out of it.
Yeah. I bought my first NES system, the Super Mario Brothers, on it. I paid $100 for it. And back then, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Had Duck Hunt and everything.
Oh,
I just aged myself, but it's true.
Man. Dude, look, coming from Atari, like 8 bits, mind-blowing. Almost as mind-blowing when they came out with the 16-bit, when they could actually have 3D worlds.
Oh,
Crazy. Yeah. All right, round number 6, pizza or hamburgers?
Man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with hamburgers.
What's your favorite toppings on the hamburger?
Oh, pickle and onion for sure.
Yeah, you throwing some bacon on that bad boy?
Yeah, bacon. If it's definitely, if bacon's an option, it's there.
Yeah, maybe a fried egg.
I do enjoy fried egg if that's an option.
Round number 7, energy drinks or coffee?
I don't like either. But if I had to pick, I'm going to go with coffee.
Yeah. You know how I just realized this? You know who has really good coffee? Wendy's.
Really?
Yeah. It's like strong, but it's not bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually a good cup of joe.
I'm a cappuccino kind of guy.
Oh, man. I tell you what, if you guys ever do a tour down here and you're on I-10 and you're coming through Orange, Texas, you need to stop at the Flying J and you need to get their French vanilla cappuccino out of a machine and it will change your life.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any Flying J's around there.
Oh, yeah. Flying J's. We got them south of us in Dalton, Georgia. Yeah.
Well, then I would say, venture out and go try the French vanilla cappuccino in their machine. I don't know if it's the same machine, but if it is, mine will be blown.
I see a quest in my future.
Yes, you do. Let's see here. Okay. This is big right here. Round number 8, Justice League or the Avengers?
I'm going to go with the Avengers. I have love and passion for both. But if there's one character that I can identify with the most, it's Hulk.
Who do you think would win in a fight between the Justice League and the Avengers?
That's a tough one too, because you got to pit the the expertise of Bruce Wayne against that of Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. I'm probably I would, and then you got. It all depends on how you look at the matchup. There, you got Thor against Superman. I don't know.
So you think Thor can hang with Superman?
Oh, probably, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to, how you match up the powers there. You got Black Widow versus Wonder Woman. That's kind of one sided. Wonder Woman on that scale. Um, I don't know. It's a tough. I mean, they both have their pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses. But
Like,
at the end
go
of the
ahead.
day, I think Hulk wins.
Have you seen the Justice League movie?
Yes.
Dude, I'm a Superman mark, and when he came out of the coma or whatever it was, when he came back and was just going ham on the rest of the Justice League, and then the part where the Flash is trying to run around him and he's faster than the Flash, I was like, dog,
Oh yeah.
this guy too legit to quit.
Oh, they've missed a lot of great opportunities in that movie. Of course, I've always loved Batman. I've always loved Superman and Wonder Woman. Everybody else beyond that, I you know didn't care as much about. But I don't know. It's a tough call. It all depends on how you weigh out everybody's superpowers and their technical prowess and all that. So it's who you match. It's really who you match up against who.
Right.
My nerd flag's flying, I know, but
be a heck of a fight.
It would.
All right, round number 9: Coca-Cola or Pepsi?
Ooh, I'm going with Coke since it's Chattanooga's hometown drink.
And I think there's some kind of line in the U.S. where Coke stops being popular, because I think northern people like Pepsi more possibly, and even then, I lived in Missouri not Missouri. I lived in Arkansas for a while, and I was working a vending job. And down here, we call everything Coke. You want a Coke? And then you have to specify, yeah, I like a Dr. Pepper. Or, yeah, I'll take a Sprite. So I was waiting on this guy, and he was behind me, and I was like, you want a Coke? He's like, no. I was like, okay. So I started filling the machine back up. Then he tapped me on my shoulder. He was like, hey, and they call it sody up there. He was like, can I get a sody? And I was like, I just asked you if you wanted a Coke. It was crazy. Yeah. Oh, pop. You guys call it pop?
No, I'm in the South, man. I'm in Chattanooga. Everything's Coke.
There you go. See,
Coke, Dr. Pepper's Coke.
See, I don't know how it got mixed into translation. Arkansas is between Louisiana and Tennessee. What's going on here?
Mississippi.
They're just rogue out there.
Yep.
Definitely. All right, and the finale of 10 Rounds with Mikey O. Mohawk or mullet?
Mohawk. Come on, man.
Dude, being in Tennessee, you have no love for the mullet? Come on.
No, and it was funny. My kids would tell you if they were here. Back before it became around again, I was a mullet hunter, and I would literally when I'm out in public, and if I saw a mullet, I would sneak up on behind the person and with my cell phone and take a picture. But now the kids are into mullets and they're everywhere.
Everywhere. You'd have to take a video.
Yeah, it's kind of lost. It's kind of like it's not the adventure it used to be. I was always in search of the great white mullet, and I found one. I got a picture of it on my phone, and this was back before they became popular again. So
that's great.
Yeah, my girls when they go to school, man, I see kids with mullets all the time. I'm like, oh, poor kids.
Well, look, you share something special with Steve Augustine, the drummer from Thousand Foot Crutch. I interviewed him years ago, and he said his whole family are mullet hunters, and they actually have an album book. And when they come home for the holidays, they actually break out the mullet album book, and they reminisce of years gone by with these amazing mullet shots.
Yeah, I was, well, when they go rare again, I'll start mullet hunting again. But I would sneak up. I'd try to get close, and I would snap their pictures, and I would like text it to my wife or one of my kids or whatever. It's like, look, a mullet. And I was in Atlanta at the Blade Show at Cobb Galleria, and I saw a guy walking around with the great white mullet, the buzz cut, and the straight white hair. Like,
yes,
the great whale. It's the great white whale.
Well, there it is. Let's get it. Appreciate that. So let's go ahead and talk about the song Artificial God. Artificial God recently had a great run in the most requested songs on Indie Rage Radio. Let's talk about, what's the song about?
Well, simply, it's about artificial intelligence, but it's a little bit deeper than that. It's about man's desire, to play God. And we are, we're kind of moving in a direction that I don't think we're going into it with our eyes completely open. I write, you can call it a blog. I write articles. I have a website called FromTheBottomEnd.com, and I've been writing over the several years now, and the song kind of spawned out of an article I wrote about artificial intelligence and how we're moving towards something that we don't understand, and it's going to be more powerful than us. It's going to be smarter than us, and it's ultimately going to be our destruction. As the first verse kind of goes, we've never stopped learning to play with fire. We're always playing with fire. We're always tempting, our own fate by, creating our own destruction. And I don't know how many movies we have to have in pop culture to warn us against this. And I guess it really all goes all the way back to the 1920s with the movie Metropolis, all the way up to, the Terminator, Ex Machina, and, iRobot and all those. And then there's the spiritual application of it as well, where humanity, is trying to play God. It's like we're trying to get back to a Garden of Eden by trying to create a subspecies. So all we have to do is just sit and be fed, and not work, and it's just very dangerous. And then this could set up, if you're a believer, if you're not a believer, if you're not a Christian, then maybe some of it won't make any sense to you. But the Book of Revelations talks a lot about this. Talks about the abomination of desolation and things of this nature. And I kind of allude to in the lyrics that the abomination of desolation could be AI. So, because, if you look at the Book of Revelation, there's a lot of visual imagery there, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. It's all, if you went back 100 years, it's just some, very powerful imagery. But now, as we've kind of crept in and technology has kind of taken place, and how can they didn't understand 100 years, 200 years ago how something could happen on the other side of the planet and the whole world see it. Well, now we got television. Well, not only do we have television now, we have Wi-Fi, internet. You can literally watch what's going on in the Middle East right now from your home. So it's all pretty freaky. And we kind of play with that and talk about it and kind of stimulate the imagination on what could or could not be. So
here it is. It's Artificial God on Indie Rage Radio. It's crazy that you were bringing that up, because I did a concept EP made by AI about AI. And it was like a metalcore concept EP. And so I got Chat GPT to write the lyrics, and I got Suno to do the music and the singing. And essentially it starts out with, us creating AI. Then it comes, they're doing all of our work, and then they kind of take us over. And then we have like a Stockholm syndrome with them. And then we end up snapping out of it and regain our freedom and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to release that later on. But also, what was the before it went big with Nicolas Cage, I think it was Cloud 10 Films that did it. Left Behind with
Yeah, Left
uh,
Behind series. Yeah.
Kurt. Well, they did like a bunch of other movies, and I got like a DVD that had like 10 of their movies on it, and like one of them was, um, it was kind of talking kind of like what you were saying, and the way that the devil or the Antichrist gave you the mark was through uh, like VR glasses, and
Well,
and if you didn't accept it, the VR glasses killed you.
yeah, there. I mean, there's all that technology is now in place, and that's the crazy part. You know, you got QR codes. QR codes are a big thing, and I'm trying not to get too crazy and fringe for some people because some of the people think, oh, this is all just conspiracy theory. No, it's not conspiracy theory. I mean, there's a lot of this technologies in place. If you look at some place like China, where they have like the social credit scores and things like
Mm-hmm.
that, have like the facial, recognition technology, and they're pretty much, they watch everything that they do over there. They know everything that they purchase, and we're kind of moving that way here in America. When you get away from cash and everything, you're not even. I mean, everything's just a chip. I mean, you got your chip, reader on your debit card now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you don't carry money anymore. So that's we're slowly moving in a direction where they can control and know everything that you buy. Even on social media, they want your social media tied to a phone. They want to know that it's you.
Yep.
And it scares me to death. I remember life before the internet. I remember life before cell phones.
Yep.
Life was a whole lot easier and less stressful long before those things came along. So
Most
there is
definitely.
trade up for convenience. We also lose freedom and security.
Mm-hmm. Facts. All right, so segment number 2, we're going to talk about the new album.
Okay.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are back with PFunk. He's the bassist and co-founder of the Chattanooga, Tennessee hard rock and metal band Faithhead. Let's talk about the brand new album, The Horrors of Things to Come. You guys just released it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, where can people find your band on the internet?
Faithhead.com is the easiest place. You can find us on social media at Faithhead Band. Please put Faithhead Band because there are people out there named Faithhead, and it's amusing as they find it, and that there's a band after the name, and we are the band, not the person. But faithhead.com will take you everywhere you need to go for music, streaming, merch, all that fun stuff. So you can find us there. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and somewhat on TikTok. If you're on Twitter, you're probably talking to me. So other than that, I mean, I really despise social media, but there are
Me
people
too.
that I do enjoy talking to, and I love the people that get on there and tell us that we suck, or and I'm like, oh, thank you for letting us know that we live rent free in your head, that you
Yeah.
spend time and energy to come tell us that. Thank you very much. And I don't read the comments, so you just wasted your time on top of that.
All right, so you guys just released the Horror of Things to Come. It's available worldwide, everywhere where you consume music. It is available, so look it up, Faithhead, The Horror of Things to Come. Now, I saw a video on your Facebook page, and it's quite interesting because I've said this to other bands, and I've said this before on the show, that a lot of times the best songs come out of the darkest of times. And this album was crafted out of the darkest of times for Faithhead.
Oh yeah, it was kind of a it was a kind of a time of uncertainty for sure. We played a show here in Chattanooga in October of 22. We were asked to play with Disciple here in Chattanooga, and after that show, we didn't have a guitar player at the time. I had to get a couple of guys to fill in, and usually we shut down after October because the holidays are right there and it's just hard to coordinate everybody's schedule. So we're pretty much done after after Halloween, we're pretty much done. Um, so Dale disappears into a tree stand. And Adam, who was in the band at the time, I think he did a little bit of hunting at that time. So it was pretty much just me sitting here in my home studio, and just started writing music. And we pretty much spent the whole of 2023 trying to figure out um, if we were going to still be a band. So the it was kind of odd because the inspiration for music was coming, and I was writing. I mean, I was starting to write some killer riffs and starting to write some great lyrics and things like that. And it was just a singer, a bass player, and a drummer. So probably around the spring of 23, uh, Dale asked LeBron Estrada, who was a guitarist in his former band, to come over and help us start the recording process because LeBron was going to record us. And so LeBron started I guess maybe February or March. I can't remember exactly when, but it was in the spring. We started tracking stuff, and it started sounding really good. And eventually, Tyler Anderson, our other guitar player, popped up. Um, he popped up. He found us either through Craigslist or something. I don't know. Whatever rock I tripped over, and he popped out like a leprechaun. It was great. So he was the first guitarist that came back on board, and most of the way through 2023, I think God was kind of dealing with LeBron a little bit about joining the band, and I'll let him answer that for you. And maybe Jimmy, when he gets a chance to come on, he can tell you a little bit about that. But it's he started working on because he loved the music so much. The music was having that kind of an impact on him, and he ultimately LeBron eventually decided to come on board as well. So we were back to our two guitar sound, which we needed because we can pull it off as a four-piece live, but it just doesn't quite have the effect of having two guitars with that full guitar sound. So, but it was a dark time because I was like, man, is it time to pack this in? Do I need to start over? But I think it was dark. It was darkest before the dawn. That was for sure. And everything that was going on at the time in the world, it just seemed like our world has been going nuts and just crazy. It's like the lunatics are in charge of the asylum in our country. And finally, at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, it seems like people are starting to push back because we got two political parties that are ruled by extremes, and everybody in the middle, like myself, is just kind of getting lost. You're either not far enough left, you're not far enough right, and I think all those politicians are crooks, left or right. So I have no love for them on either side. So
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier this hour, you guys have been doing it for quite a while. How long has Faithhead been around?
officially since 2016. So we're coming up in 2 years. We'll be lapping that 10-year mark, which is
Nice.
frightening. So in 2025, that'll be 10 years for me because that was kind of when the concept started. I was in between bands at that time, and I didn't know if I wanted to start another band or join another band. And when the inspiration for this came along, so but yeah, 2026 will be 10 years. Believe it or not, it's crazy.
Yeah. And you talked about playing with Disciple. What's one of the greatest memories you have of playing with a national touring band?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of great acts out there. There's some good bands. I'll be honest with you. We've shared the stage with a couple of big bands. Probably the only one that I've probably Matt Moore. I don't know if you know who Matt Moore is.
Yeah.
We just shared the stage recently with him. He's probably been the best experience thus far. Um, in other bands, I've opened for national touring acts, and the one I would have to say that preceded that would be Brian Headwelt's Love and Death. Those guys in that band were great, to the opening acts. But there were some others I won't mention that weren't so great.
Oh no.
Matt Moore and the guys in Love and Death, we're all, we're always great. They're great bands over with, and there's others, but it's one of those things where he's like, do you want to really meet your hero? Do you
Hmm.
really want to? But I don't understand the rock star famous attitude thing. I mean, um, people pay money. When it's a paid show to come see you, you should be gracious enough that people paid money for to spend their time with you. Uh, you know, I I think anybody that shows up to hear us play, even if it's five people, we're going to put on the best show for five people. Because they chose to spend their time with us, and our time is no more precious than theirs.
Most definitely. All right, so the next song we're going to play is "Don't Invite Them In." What's this song about?
It's basically talking about all these banal things in our culture that seem, pretty harmless, but are really underneath. If you look underneath the veil, they're really demonic. I know there's people that seem to have more faith in Chinese fortune cookies than they have in their own faith walk in the Bible and things like that. But it's this song is particularly aimed at things like tarot cards and Ouija boards and seances and things like that. The dead are dead. They can't hear you. They can't speak. They're not talking to you. You're being fooled. That's you're being from the Christian worldview. You're being lied to by talking to your dead aunt or your dead mother or your whoever. You're talking to a demon. You're talking, and they're there to lie and to deceive you. The Satan's knowledge is vast and ancient, but it's not all knowing. It's limited because Satan is not God. He may be the Lord of this world as the master of this world, but he is not God.
Here it is. It's "Don't Invite Them In" from Faith Head on Indie Rage Radio. All right, very good.
And on a lighter note, on a happier note,
Yeah. Segment 3 is going to be a happier note because we're going to talk about Chattanooga.
okay, my hometown.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. It is our number 2. And PFunk, the bassist and the founder of the Chattanooga, Tennessee hard rock and metal band Faith Head, is kind enough to join us again for our number 2. PFunk, let's talk a little bit about Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Uh-huh. What about it?
All right, so somebody's getting the big seat on the Spirit airline.
Mm-hmm.
They're flying into. Do you guys have an airport in Chattanooga? I would imagine you do.
We do.
Flying into Chattanooga, Tennessee. They're
Mm-hmm.
hungry. They
Mm-hmm.
want to catch some amazing food. What's one place that you would recommend that they stop at?
Well, it depends on what you want. There's a lot of great barbecue places around town. We got all kinds of, we got all kinds of things. Um, I don't know. There's some places that I'm partial to, and there's some places that I used to love that aren't there anymore.
Hmm.
Um, but it all depends on how much you prefer the tourist trap stuff versus where the local people go.
Now we
And I
want some local people join. We want some flavor. We don't want a mass produced menu.
right,
We want some mom and pop eateries.
I would go to Choo Choo Barbecue. They got a couple of places. There's two or three places around town. There's one in North. There's one out near the airport off Shallowford. Choo Choo Barbecue is always good. Our Chattanooga barbecues come a long way. I'm. We've also got. There used to be one up on Signal Mountain, but it's not there anymore. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna say do some Chattanooga barbecue. Do Choo Choo Barbecue.
What's the go-to dish there?
Oh man, it depends on what day it is. If it's Wednesdays, I like the chicken and dressing. I would probably, if you're not there and they don't have it, I do a killer pork potato.
Mm.
Killer pork potato is always good. Um, man, there's there's just man, there's so many good food options in Chattanooga. Um, I think if you're into high class dining, I think there's a place downtown called Whitebird that I liked. I took my wife there for our anniversary once. We haven't been back. I don't know why. I had like a leg of lamb that was really good. All the vegans started crying after I said that, but yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of great places. A lot of there's Chattanooga's got good food. I will say that. I don't know. It all depends on what you're in the mood for. We got a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and how would you categorize Tennessee barbecue? Because you got Texas barbecue that's mostly like famous for its dry rub, not really its sauce. But then you got KC and you got North Carolina. You know, some vinegar sauces, some sweet sauces. How would you characterize Tennessee barbecue?
Well, let me give you my credentials here. Because because we play in Missouri a lot, and I've spent a lot of time in Kansas City, and I've eaten all the barbecue places from Jack Stacks to Smoking Guns in Kansas City. Arthur Bryant's, I think that's the other one. They've eaten all of those barbecue places. I don't know. We're kind of in between. We're in between a Sweet Caroline and like a Memphis rub, somewhere in between there.
Mhm.
We got just a little bit of everything. I will say that we've not got to Jack Stacks, Kansas City, Missouri level barbecue yet, but we're getting there. But yeah, I don't know, we're getting there. We're getting there.
So is Choo Choo's barbecue also the joint? Like if somebody wanted some hot chicken, some Nashville hot?
No, we have Nashville hot chicken here. So there's actually a hot chicken place out by Hamilton Place Mall
Nice.
that I've eaten there. It's good. I like stuff that's warm. I don't mind spicy, but I don't like to be in pain when I eat. It's not my thing. I love Indian food. If
Yeah.
you love Indian food, you need to go out towards it's north of Chattanooga and Collegedale. There's a place called the Curry Pot, and they have some chicken tikka masala that is to
Mm.
die for. A little old lady is in there making that stuff, and she knows how to make it. And the garlic naan is, it's very
Man,
good.
that sounds good. Uh, you know who coincidentally had a fantastic, what big chain had a fantastic Nashville hot chicken? KFC.
Did they really?
Oh, it was fantastic. And I was so mad when they got rid of it. And then a few months later, all of the KFC chains closed here in Lake Charles and Southwest Louisiana in general. There's like the
Huh.
closest one's probably in Beaumont, Texas.
Hmm.
It's terrible. All right. So the next song we're going to play is the title album off your brand new album. Did I say title album? Your title track off your brand new album that released worldwide. Everywhere where you consume music, the horror of things to come. Go help support Faith Head. Go stream it. But more importantly, go buy it. Like streaming, it's such a racket. Go buy this album. All right. So let's talk about this song, The Horror of Things to Come. What's this about?
It's a lament. It's a lament. The story behind this song is actually pretty interesting. I was watching the news one night. It was probably my first mistake, but I was very disturbed by the fact, you know, if you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. I don't really care. It's none of my business. I really don't care what you do as an adult. If you're in America, you have the right to live and however you want. That's all fine. But man, when you start targeting children, that's where I get upset. And I was watching the news, and it's just like all this evil in our culture in our world. It's not aimed at adults anymore. It's aimed at children, or maybe it has always been aimed at children, and I've just never noticed or paid that close of attention. And so the song in itself is a lament, basically asking, for forgiveness, and asking God for forgiveness, asking mothers for forgiveness, asking children for forgiveness, and there's a melody in there between the verse and the chorus that's actually sung by children, Jimmy's kids actually. It's sleeping in the arms of a nightmare from which we cannot wake. It's kind of creepy,
Wow.
but that's the whole point. But the song is a lament. You know, it's like when your demons are no longer fun, when you've kind of hit the bottom of the barrel and it's no longer fun. It's just the horror of what's yet, what's to come, because it doesn't get better, it just gets worse. How depraved do you have to be? you know it's like porn and drugs are very much the same. Sexual depravity, it's all the same. You have to keep doing something harder and harder and harder to keep satiating yourself. And it's just where ultimately sin and all this leads. It's just to horrible deprivation. And it just seems like so much of this is now directed at children, and that's kind of where we're holding the line. This is where we're gonna, you're an adult, you do whatever you want to as an adult, but you got to leave children alone.
There it is. It's the horror of things to come on Indie Rage Radio. All right, very good. Segment 4, we're kind of like up against the clock. It's the last song in the show, so we're kind of putting a bow on everything.
All right.
Just wrapping it up. All right. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We are back one last time. It's our final segment with PFunk. He's the founder and bassist from the Chattanooga hard rock and metal band Faithhead. PFunk, appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here, and I really appreciate you allowing me to spend time with your audience, and I appreciate your audience for allowing me to talk about Faithhead and all the crazy music that we got going on. It's real. Seriously, I do appreciate it.
Faithhead's brand new album, The Horror of Things to Come, is available right now on every platform you consume music. You guys got merch at your website?
We do. T-shirts, CDs, patches.
Nice.
Just remember, if you purchase a CD, it's the equivalent to 15,000 streams. So, and right now,
Wow.
I know our album's been streamed a few thousand times, but it takes 15,000 streams to come to the equivalent of one purchase of one CD. And we don't expect something for nothing unless you want to make a tax deductible donation. That is an option on our website, faithhead.com. But I would much rather let you have something in return. But the CDs, it's like, I don't even own the CD player. Well, you get a digital download too. I always like to have something tangible. There's a lot of bands I still love. I still love Alice in Chains. I still love Black Label Society, and I still buy merch. I still buy CDs, because as an indie artist, I know that's how the next studio album for Black Label Society is going to get made. If I don't buy a CD, I don't get to hear more Zakk Wylde.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's just the nature of it. And in Europe, I know in Germany, it's still 90% physical sales. I don't understand. I'm glad vinyl's made a resurgence. I love vinyl, but we're not big enough to justify pressing vinyl yet. Maybe after this album we can make it. I don't know. I would absolutely love to have enough people asking for vinyl to justify pressing.
Yeah, and if you're listening or watching right now, go buy that CD from Faithhead, and while you're waiting to get it shipped to your house, go to the Goodwill and go get you a CD player. You know what I mean?
Man.
All right, so what's the future look like for Faithhead, P-Funk?
Well, right now, like I said, we're kind of wrapping it up for the year. We just got through playing Rockin' the River in Harrison, Arkansas. And right now we're on cruise control. We don't play another show until the first weekend in January. And we are playing in Memphis, Tennessee at Growlers. I can't remember the other bands, Monarch to Oblivion. No, not Monarch to. I can't remember the name of the band. Forgive me. we're playing with 2 other bands. One's from Jackson, one's from Nashville. We're playing at Growlers on, I think it's January 4th. That's first Saturday in January in 2025. So, and please remember us in your prayers, because every time we've ever tried to play Memphis, something catastrophic has happened. The first time we were supposed to play in Memphis, we were on tour in July of 2019, and I had a blowout, and we flipped the trailer and wrecked.
Oh, snap.
And the second time we tried to play Memphis, I think, the second time I think somebody died, somebody's family member died, and the third time it just got canceled. So I can't remember.
Hey.
Something along. Every time we've tried to play Memphis, it's not gone well. So it's been crazy.
Yeah, there's something about Memphis.
2025's our year.
Like I mentioned earlier in the show that I lived in Arkansas for a little bit. I lived in Jonesboro, and Memphis isn't that far away. And the first time me and my wife went to a show in Memphis, we went to go watch Emery, the Classic Crime, and Kingsdown. And during the day, it seemed just fine. We walked into the venue, had a great time. When we stepped 1 foot out of that venue, it's something about Memphis. When it turns dark, it's a totally different city. And my wife doesn't run, but you could feel the heaviness. And I looked at her and I was like, run to the car? And she was like, yeah, run to the car. And we ran to the car.
Yeah, I've spent some time in Memphis. I don't know. I'm looking forward to the show. I'm trying to get into the mindset that everything's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
There won't be any issues us getting there this time. I don't know. Just pray for us. Keep us in your thoughts and prayers as we go through the next few months. We're actually the next few months we're going to be rehearsing the other half of the album that we didn't get to play this fall. So if you go to Growlers, you're probably going to get to hear. You're probably going to hear the title track, "The Horror of Things to Come." You're going to hear probably "Victim Mortality." You're probably going to hear. Well, we're playing "Artificial God" already, and a couple of the others, and probably the Unfurling, which we've not played. We've not played those songs. We have not played "Victim Mortality," "Horrors," or the Unfurling live yet. So you're probably going to hear a lot of the new songs for the first time at Growlers in January.
Nice. And speaking of that, we are ending the show out with the Unfurling. What's this song about?
Sadly, it's another lament. Yes, it's such a bright and cheerful album. Now, if you make it past the Unfurling, you got "Mercy and Grace," which is your feel good, helpful, song. So just make it to track number 12. You'll be doing okay. But the Unfurling is, like I said, it's kind of another lament in the fact that it's kind of one of those, wishing that you could go back to the innocent times that you had when you were growing up. Of yesterday, we talked about, when we were kids, we could get on our bikes and ride around our neighborhood, and we could go to the creek and play in the creek and throw rocks at each other. And, it's like kids nowadays don't have that. It's like the world today is it's just full of predators. And maybe back then there were predators and we just didn't know it, or it was just not that prevalent. But it just seems like the world's gotten darker, and everything is unfolding, everything is unfurling. So that's kind of the gist of the Unfurling is wanting to have that innocence back of yesteryear and yesterday when you could be a kid.
What it is time for us to bid you adieu. He is PFunk. I am Mikey O. We are out of here. Here's the Unfurling. We'll see you when we see you.
Thanks.
All right, very cool. PFunk, appreciate your time, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sorry it took us so long we had shows back to back, and I'm glad we got to do this. And
No, that's all good, man.
I know Jimmy's going to probably try to get with you later.
Okay.
So he's got the link, and when I get off here, I got to call him. But yeah, definitely talk to Jimmy. Jimmy's got some because he was in the band, then he had to leave the band, then he's come back to the band.
Yeah.
So it was funny because talking about things being dark, um, because at the end of 2023, Adam had the singer at the time had to quit. He had too much going on in his life, work and stuff like that. He's got kids too. So I made a phone call to Jimmy. I said, Jimmy, Adam's having to leave. I said, there's not going to be a fourth singer for Faithhead. So I said, if you want to come back, the door is open. And at the time, he lived 3 or 4 hours away, and he was planning on moving back anyway. I said, the door is open to you if you want to come back. I said, otherwise, this last album is going to have 3 different singers on it, and it's going to be our last. It's going to have all the singers for Faithhead on it, and then I'm done. So he's like, no, I think I'd like to come back. I'm like, okay, nice. That's good.
Yeah.
Gives you a little preemptive story for Jimmy's interview.
Nice.
So you can remember.
Well, before you leave, if you give me a drop,
sure.
And we're recording, so at any time, just something simple like, hey, this is PFunk from Faithhead, and you're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Hey, this is PFunk, the bassist for Faithhead, and you're listening to Indie Rage Radio.
Very good, man. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Keep putting out great music. Keep doing the good work.
Hey, anytime you need us for anything, I'm available. Just shoot me an email, just like you did, and whatever we can do to help support you, let us know.
I appreciate that, brother.
If you want us to promote, that we can be a part of. If we need to come out your way, if you got, we don't. It doesn't take much to get us out there. Usually gas money, some place to crash, and you feed us a meal. We're usually pretty good.
Word.
So, we're only rock stars for 45 minutes.
Right.
After that, we're roadies and truck drivers. So.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And yeah, that goes both ways too. If you guys need anything from us, reach out, let us know.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And I won't keep you, but I really, seriously, appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Have a good one, man.
You too.